So I would like to explain about the agenda for today. And so basically, this seminar would actually be separated into two sessions for 1 hour each. And then we will have a break in between the two sessions before moving on to the second section. And then we'll have the Q&A part at the end. And then this seminar will end roughly around 4 p.m. So before I begin, I would like to introduce you to our special guest speaker today, who is the topic today is the future technology trends in 2021. And from Dr. Supoet Srinutapong, I hope my pronunciation is correct. I'm very sorry if I pronounce it wrong. So I will give a brief introduction about our guest speaker today, who have got the Bachelor of Engineering degree from Assumption University, the Master of Science degree from London South Bank University, and the Doctor degree from Eastern Asia University. Has the working experience at Seagate Technology, Assumption University, Cisco Systems, Microsoft, and he is currently working as the Head of Technical Knowledge Management of the Advanced Info Service Public Company Limited, which most people know the company as the name of AIS. So next, please join me in welcoming Dr. Supoet Srinutapong to speak to us about the future technology trends in 2021. Please.
Thank you, Kap. Okay, Kap. So, thank you so much. Let me share my screen and then let me start. Right. Okay. Thank you to Ajahn Keo Kap, and also thanks to MC to introduce my brief introduction. Okay, so maybe just get a bit into more detail so we know each other before we start the session today. Okay. So basically, as the MC have introduced, I graduated from Assumption University from the engineering school, and also working here as well in 1997 at the in the Faculty of Science and Technology for the Department of Telecommunication Science. So briefly, I have been in board of the company is to be the multinational company. Start from the Seagate Technology, the hard disk drive that spent about 3 years in the factory. So it should be in the production line, right? Mostly from the engineering work. And then I've been being a teaching professional for about 3 years as well. And as Cisco system, that I think I can contribute something from my experience to all of you today, that I heading the marketing for Thailand in Indochina at Cisco system in 2000 to 2003. And then moving to Microsoft in year 2003, and then being with Microsoft for almost 17 years at Microsoft, working as the director of the education industry, and also the director of the public sector program at Microsoft Thailand. So that'd be the journey that I've been taking in the past more than 20 plus years. And last year I moved to AIS, heading as the head of the technical knowledge management at AIS, taking care of the knowledge management, building a learning platform, and then also deliver the development plan for the employee in terms of the technical knowledge. Okay, that is kind of the brief, more detailed introduction of myself. Okay, so what we are talking about today is mostly on the journey that you might heard about the term digital transformation, right? It will be a common term right now from the past, I think, almost 5 years that we are talking about digital transformation, or even a digital disruption, right? That would be kind of accelerate the change in every industry, including marketing, including businesses, including all the industry that I have been with, and also all other industry as well. So when talking about the digital transformation, people are thinking into two things. The first one is mostly they are just digitizing the papers into a digital format, right? All the processes, and then that we call just the starting point, just the digitization. But the next step from that, from the digitization, it should be a digitalization that a little bit different. A digitalization is would be you utilizing a technology and then make use of the technology. That we will show you more on that, how it's mean by the digitalization. For example, in terms of marketing, right? You're using the customer information put into a CRM system using AI, using all the social sensing kind of thing, and then you analyze a person from the engagement to the persona. Something like that is called the digitalization. It's not just putting the information from a paper base into an electronic format. That is just called the digitization, right? And then from the slides that you can see here is that when people talking about digital transformation, they are mostly emphasis on the technology itself or the tools itself. They have to invest. But the thing is that from my experience and also the research have found in the past 5 to 10 years that the company or organization that success in terms of the digital transformation is mostly they are transforming their people. It's not just a technology. Technology just accelerate the change, but the one who are transforming the organization is a people in that organization. And then when the people transform, they are building up their own culture. So it means also a culture transformation. Just looking back, thinking a little bit more on that, let's say we are working in the traditional way of working, right? That's called the culture of work in one organization. And then when you transform in using information, using the power dashboard that you can know the thing, you can use social media kind of thing. That kind of thing is building up the new culture. That's what I mean by here is that the main purpose is that we have to do a transformation of the organization or even ourselves. It will start from people, and then the people will also transform their own culture of that organization, right? So in the nutshell is that the critical part is more on the people and culture rather than on the technology itself. And from the topic today is that I'm talking about the trend by 2021, not the trend by 2025 or 2030, because of that the current situation of the pandemic is very in the state of uncertainty. No one knows more than 6 to 12 months what will happen, or even ourselves we don't really know what will happen in November or in December this year. In the next just few months we also cannot guess what will happen, right? We don't know it will be the fourth wave or we will getting better in terms of that the pandemics. So that is the reality that we have to face with. So let me show you one thing from the research, right, on the social media trend in 2021, and then that will give you a little bit more on the sense of using technology into that trend as well. Okay. So what you just see in the video is that that is the social trend that is happening in the year 2020 or during the pandemic from last year to this year. Let me just give you a summarize first, and then so from the video itself, they have a 5 trend, right? The first one will be all organizations that are striving for survival. So they are looking for a short-term ROI on the target audience, and also they need to build an innovative digital experiences for getting more customer engagement for long term of their strategies. The second one is that most of the brand they are going into the trap because they are just to rush get into the game or competition. That maybe you can look into some of the airlines that they are trying very hard on the opportunity that they have, and then most of them are fail from that is too rush. So they suggest that the smart brand may be listening more with the customer need, and then they come back with the more innovative or creative ways of the engagement or a conversation with the target audience or customer. The third trend is that the surprisingly that the generation that are very low on the technology used in the past, and then most of the marketers they are ignoring this group of the customer of the baby boomers. But from the video, you can see that they have a growth, very high growth of the baby boomer generation. They are spending online during the pandemics, right? Because those people they are have spent their whole life from the working experience, and then they also collecting a lot of wealth. So they are actually the most of the target segment that they have very much a lot of the opportunity there. But the term of the technology or digital business or commerce, that they are kind of the ignore of the segment in the past. But right now we need to get included the baby boomers into the digital strategies of the company as well. The fourth trend is that will be the integration from the engagement conversion into a customer identity. So that means let's say you are selling something online, or you are preparing the social media platform, that mostly we are caring of the engagement of the number of reach, the number of view, the number of like or hit, something like that. But it really not useful from that information if they didn't connected to a customer identity. So most of the great platform, they will be matching those engagement information into a customer identity, and then they can monetize or doing a purpose of the need of that person more efficiently. So that is the thing that will be happen in very near future with the technology. Right now, we can do all of that. Mostly they are thinking between the social sensing and also using the data analytic tools that will be doing some analytic, and also using an AI machine learning into that. So that will be a lot of things that can be happen from this angle. The fifth trend is that it will be balancing of two things, that doing a traditional commerce, and also trying to go into be a growth in the new pathway, and then that will be adapt from the changes, right? So let me pause here for a while, and then maybe if possible you can share that what would you have seen in the video or from the summary just now that is new for you. You never been thinking of that before, right? For me, basically, I didn't never thought that the baby boomer will be spent the high growth on that in the past year, right? So anything that you have noticed from the video? you can just voice out or share your thought. Yep.
อาจารย์
ครับ
วิดีโอไม่มีภาพไม่มีเสียงนะครับ
วิดีโอไม่มีเสียงนะครับผม
ไม่มีภาพด้วยครับ
เอาภาพก็ไม่มีอะฮะ
ใช่ครับมีแต่สไลด์ PowerPoint ครับ
เมื่อกี้ที่ฉายวิดีโอเดี๋ยวนะครับผมแชร์มาอีกทีนะครับอาจารย์โทษครับ
วิดีโอตอนแรกมีครับวิดีโอตอนแรกที่เปิดมีแต่ว่าอันนี้ตอนนี้ไม่มีอะไร
อ๋อตอนนี้
ผมครับตอนนี้ผมมองเห็นหน้า
ผมใช่ไหมฮะครับ
จะ
โอเคเดี๋ยวผมกลับไปใหม่ฮะก็คือเมื่อกี้ดูวิดีโอได้เนาะครับผม
ได้เมื่อกี้ดูได้ครับเมื่อกี้ได้หมด
โอเคครับอาจารย์เห็นสไลด์ผมแล้วนะฮะ
ครับเห็นครับ
โอเคครับเดี๋ยวผม continue ตั้งอีกนิดก็ได้ครับ Okay, so from the video and then you can going to search more on the information from this URL. It is come from the hootsuite.com/research/social trends. Also the video that I just shown you also in this website, so you can watch them again because maybe the animation is quite fast and then you cannot read it from the ad animation, right? So, but that is the social trend in 2021 that happening right now, and all of those come from survey from more than 11,000 of the marketers, right? So that will be reflecting something of the trend at the moment, right? The other video will show you of the report from World Economic Forum that is to show how the impact of the pandemic into the future of jobs.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
Okay, so that is from the World Economic Forum, and you can also find the more information from the website of the you may search from the Future of Job report 2020. From that website, we see that video as well. And what we have seen, you have seen in the video, just re-emphasize again on the human capital. That is the major main factor that will be make the company survive in the future. Is more on the people itself. And what we need is that the new skill set of everyone who are in the market or in the workforce, or even like yourself, you are studying and then preparing yourself into going to the workforce very soon. So that is the time that we need to upskill and reskill people. So the skill set or knowledge that we have right now is not might fit for the need of the future in the just next 2 to 5 years. And here is the list of the top 10 skill set in 2025 that is reported by the World Economic Forum. They classify into 4 groups. The first one is in blue is problem solving. That is most of the thing. So we emphasize more on the problem solving and analytic thinking. So is it more on the you will face with the new challenges that need a skill set that you have to think, analyze, and then try to find the solution for that. Is to be used more on the skill of the problem solving. And then the second group is be more on the self-management, and then the work with people. Those two is that when you have to improve yourself by upskill skill, or even right now we are learning from home, study from home, or like myself working from home for the past I think more than 4 or 5 months. That will be need a lot of skill set on the self-management, and then how we deal with people, just not just face to face, but virtually, how to manage the digital relationship with people as well. And then the last thing is that in the dark blue is in on the technology used for the development. Like we are using the tools like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, or all kind of the tools that enable us to work online or study online or work virtually. That those kind of things that need to be improved. It might be the skill set that you already have, but for today, the tool itself is development of the more advanced of the features. Technology is make them more easier to use, offering you more new kind of the feature function. So that means we need to study or reskill on those kind of things. And then you need to acquire more on the other skill as well that you might don't have one yet, but it is recommended that you need to understand more or to learn more on that, right? So this kind of the thing that we emphasize that we need to learn on the new skill every day, right? Just pick on the thing that is be coming into the future. And here's the height of the technology will be used in the digital workplace, like by Gartner. So you should see the URL on the lower left as well, that gartner.com/smarter with Gartner. So this height, what they are telling us is that if you list all the trend of the technology will be used in the digital workplace. So I just highlight some of them is that, so from today we'll be moving toward a smart workplace. It'll be more on the mobile workplace. That means that every employee or every worker don't have their own station. So you'll be kind of the co-working space that they can work together. And then it might not require people to come to the office every day, right? So like now in the pandemic situation is that is almost 100% of the workforce, they are working from home, and the business can also continue, except some of the critical function that have to be some people in the workplace. That's still quite the lower number. But the company also learned that if they can do it this way, it will be save a lot of expense or investment of the company as well. So rather than I have to spend, let's say, 10 million baht per month in terms of the office space, so maybe you can cut by half, because half of the people, they are working from home and only half of people coming into the office. That will be the saving of the expense of the company. So those kind of the new idea or new kind of thinking will be coming to the future. Or even we might heard about some of companies, they are coming up with the new policy, let's say only 3 working days or 4 working days a week, and then the employee have the holiday about 3 to 4 days a week. That's kind of thing quite the new policy that they are exploring in other countries, and then some of the in Thailand also quite explore on that as well. If we just can come back to work normally, that might be the new way of work that coming up. That, and also technology will be helping on that for working virtually, as the same that we are working virtually right now through the pandemic period. I highlight one of the technology that is robotic process automation. You can see on the middle of the page. This one, in short, they call RPA. It's kind of the generic name, but mostly in the market, they are kind of the two software that can do this robotic process automation. One is we call UiPath. UiPath is also the kind of the program or software that make you do a automation of the process. And then the other one also called the Power Platform or Power Automation. That is another, just the two software that can help on working or exploring how we do the process automation. This concept actually come from the past, I think 10, 20 years ago. They're talking about office automation, that kind of the transforming the way people work by digitization. What I mean is from a paper memo into an email, or rather than sending the post, you sending a fax or email. That's kind of thing we call the office automation in the past. But now today, it will be more advanced, that everything in the process that you're working, it can be done by doing an automation. So the word robotic that come in because they are, it seems like you have a bot or a robot that work for you. They can work by themselves 24/7, and then the cost to building that one bot is very cheap. For example, the cost that they utilize the computing power or using the service from the AI or the cloud is less than 100 baht per bot. So if I say this bot, okay, every day they have to search for or sensing for the customer data, and then they summarizing that, put into a table or report, and then they submit the data into the filing system, and then or sending as a summary to the executive or dashboard. So those kind of things in the past, if you're using people, you might need about 2 to 3 people try to do that, and then at the end of the day, they're summarizing the report and then send on the next day. Those they spend about 2-3 days before finish the task. But for a bot itself, they can do it very quick. I say they every 8 o'clock in the morning, you can send you a report, right? Or even an update at 12 o'clock as well. And the cost of that bot is less than 100 baht compared to the salary of one people. If you we have to hire people to do that kind of job. Let's say it starts from 10 to 15,000 baht per month, right? Compared to 100 baht per month, working 24/7. So this is kind of scary on using the technology, but the trend is there. That means that all the workforce will be shifted. The job that not be around in the past 10 or 20 years, or the new kind of position will be coming up. And most of the job that doing the kind of the routine job will be eliminated more or less in the next 2 to 5 years as well. So that is the trend that we see on those that impact to the digital workplace. So this is the rate of change of the automation that I have been talking in the past slide, in the last slide. So this year, you can see that the human will be take place about 70% compared to a machine or a bot of 30% in average. And then in the next 5 years, it will be using more and more bot or robotic process automation or RPA in every organization, in every job, every task. That will be a 50% of the total job that be on the machine that we are using. So this is the rate of change from 30% to 50% in just the next 5 years. So now it's come to the technology that will be fuel the change of the future. So I categorize into about 5 group of the technology that will be coming up in the near future or even right now. The first one is AI or artificial intelligence. Second one, IoT or Internet of Things. The third one is mixed reality. Mixed reality is a combine of the virtual reality and augmented reality, VR and AR together. And then next one is blockchain. Blockchain starting from the financial industry, and then now they are expanding to other area across from the supply chain to financial to everything that need to share the same information in the multiple stakeholder that can use the blockchain technology to do that. And then the last one is the quantum computing. That means once you have a lot of data, and then we call big data, and then the computing of the existing technology is not fast enough to analyze the vast amount of data. So the new kind of the technology called quantum computing will be come into place, that they will be have a more high performance of the processing or computerization on that. For example, on the research of the vaccine for the COVID-19, if you use the traditional technology for analyzing the information from the researcher that they are collecting, right? The result from the patient that have impacted or with from a vaccine, or they are combining the cross vaccinated, something like that. So if you have a million of sample, and then you need to analyze them with the past technology, you might need about 3 days, 1 week to analyze that. But with the quantum computing technology, will shorten the time. Let's say it can be finished within an hour or half an hour, or even in a minute. So this is the 5 group of technology that will be engine of our future. So we get into a little bit more on the definition of each group of technology. The first one is AI. AI is actually we can think of many things allow us. Let's say from the mobile phone that have a facial recognition, that's also an AI, right? So they recognize your face, and then they use the dot on your face that is recognized as a people, or even they can recognize who is who as well. And then they can recognize the object as well. What is that? What is this, right? And also the machine translation that translate from one language to other language, or even translate from the voice recognition or the handwriting recognition. So all of these things is actually in the group of the AI, and we call all of this as the cognitive services. It means that you need to have a sensor that get the information into the system, and then the AI or the machine will analyze and then give you back the result, right? So that is the cognitive services. Nowadays, all the big firm, they also provide you a vast amount of set of cognitive services. Some of them is used for free as well. Like from the Google or Microsoft or Facebook, they all use all these kind of the AI, or even in the Line application as well, that also use a lot of the AI on the machine translation. So this kind of thing, they are happening every day around us, and then we are using AI even right now as well. This is other short video on the AI and the 3D of the training of the athlete into the Olympic, right? So let's see this video.
接下来我们再来关注一下刚刚结束的第32届夏季奥运会。本届奥运会呢，中国的奥运健儿们取得了骄人的成绩。在争金夺银的背后，除了运动员的刻苦训练和教练员的悉心教导之外，还出现了很多高科技的训练设备和手段。而这些高科技又是如何助力运动员的呢？我们一起来看一下。跳水是一项高速的运动，从起跳到落水只有短短2秒钟的时间。运动员在空中的动作非常复杂，如何精确分析运动员动作的细微偏差，是训练过程中的一大难点。中国跳水队在训练中采用了3D 加 AI 技术，对动作、姿势等进行针对性的训练。
比如说这个动作呢，是跳水3米板里面难度最高的3.9的这个动作5156B。可以看到呢，我们把运动员的关键动作呢，把它这种时序动作定格到这种3维空间上面，各种数据的这种分析，就把一个动作的这种各种的细节给展现出来了。
有了高科技手段的助力，教练员就可以针对运动员的相关量化指标进行针对性的指导。训练结束后，运动员还可以使用这套系统，像复习功课一样，及时的总结经验，改进不足。这对于运动员赛前的备战和准备工作非常重要。
科技呢，能带给体育的是什么呢？就是说，能够把一些，比如说我们平时那种口耳相传的感性的这种训练的这种经验与模式呢，能够把它变成一个数字化的定量的这种分析，能够带来更精确的科学的这种指导，能够助力呢运动员在这个备战过程中有的放矢。
除此之外，射击、射箭、飞碟、3人篮球、乒乓球等项目也都有科技手段的参与。用于航空航天领域的风洞实验室还对赛艇、帆板、游泳等项目提供了技术支持。
Okay, so you can see that a lot of sport that using technology to help on the sports side as well. So in terms of the practice of the athletes, right? With the technology, you can analyze how they jump. So they can differ into a 3 stages. The first one, they are taking off from the springboard, and then how high is that? And then the second part is during they are forming their body in the air. And then the last one, that is the secret of all the athletes, that after they are getting into the water, how can they keep the air, not just make them pop up into the water surface, because they need to have the less space that they can do. So this means that after they get into the water, they have to do the roll of the body to keep the air, and that make the air that not pop up into the space too quick, that make the space is too large. Those kind of thing is an effect from the technology that they can explain to the athletes, and also the coach can coach the athletes. So this kind of AI, they are applying in our everyday life. And then if you may try by yourself, you can get into the App Store and then you can search for the app called Seeing AI, right? Seeing AI. So can also try for yourself that they can, you just put the camera onto any letter or sentences. They can read aloud from that sentence or even do a translation. They can recognize people. Once you give them some sample, right? Okay, so this face is called support this face called something, and then the program itself, they can recognize the face of the people. When you put the camera into that people, the face, they recognize them, and then they also can call their name correctly. Or even they can scan on the QR, the barcode of the packaging, and then they will tell you that what is the package itself, or what the category of the product is, right? And also you can point into any surfaces, and then it can tell you what color it is, something like that. So this is an application that you can try by yourself and learn more on how AI is working, right? In terms of that, the starting point of understanding AI is to just try by yourself from a very simple application like this, and then we will know that okay, the thing is that they use the camera to get the input, right? It can be a letter, it can be a person, it can be a things, and then the software will be sending that information into the cloud and using the AI machine learning translation, something like that, and then getting the result back to your screen, right? If you ask them for translation, you ask them to read around, those kind of things will be the processed by the technology called AI. Okay. This other sample of the new technology that will coming up, I think next year, is come from Oculus, the VR company that was taken over by Facebook already, and then they are preparing to launch the VR virtual workroom in the next year. Let's see the video. Okay, so this product called Workroom, I think it will be available very soon. There are two things of the trend from the Western world as well, or in the global movement, is that the using of the avatar as a persona of the people is a trend that is growing and using in many industries right now. So this is one thing that when you get into the virtual world, right, you get your own avatar, and then you can meet and greet people in a virtual world. So it seems like in the movie that you get just wearing the VR box glasses, and then you move into the other virtual world, and then you can interact with people, you can talk with them, you can work with them, you can just feel like you are in the it feel like in a real world, but actually in a virtual world. So if it's in the cartoon or avatar character like in the video, you see the separate from from the real world and virtual world, right? It's called a twin, a virtual twin world that we can work together in the same way. And then the other thing is that the virtual world is look like the real world, that it be more on the blend into a mixed reality, that the separation between virtual and reality will be very close, or even sometimes we don't really understand whether right now we are in a virtual or in the real world, right? So this is kind of the new trend technology that is coming. I think early next year, because Facebook have bought Oculus for I think almost more than 1 year already, and then they are quite ready for launching the product. But during the pandemic, many unforecast situation, right? So they don't know when we'll be able to launch this on the VR experiences, right? The second part is the sample of the robotic process automation that I mentioned. It can be in the term of the chatbot, right? So right now you can see a lot of services on the website or in the chat application. Actually, they like a program to be a chatbot, right? That are serving or servicing people as a, instead of using the call center that will be have the fatigue of the agent, or sometimes they don't really understand the question. But chatbot can come in and then they screening out most of the inquiry, and then let the smaller traffic that go into the operator or the agent to work on. So that means I don't need to hire 500 agent in call center. I may need only 100 of them, right? So that save the cost of that, and then the other traffic of the 400 will fall into the robotic process automation, like this kind of the chatbot example. So what I have talking so far, it be more on the trend technology, and then that is baked into the lower part of the slides. It be the cloud-based collaboration, the mixed reality like the Oculus or from Facebook, artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain. Those is the term of technology. And then on the upper part will be the thing that we impact into our real life, that we contribute into the new way of work, the new way of learning. It'll be kind of the virtual century. Everything will be virtual, right? So pandemic will be with us for I think for a long time as well. And then the hyper automation, that everything will be moving from the people oriented process into more on the automation. Even a small job or processes will be run automatically. And then it will be the spite of the digitalization, not just the digitization in the very near future, in just 1 or 2 years, as we have seen in the past 1.5 years from the COVID pandemic, that make people to utilize or use more on the digital technology. And then the business model will be changed, right? Have you as we see in the first video from Hootsuite, right? That from the social media trend, that we can see that things have changed. People are working from home. They do more on the online shopping, right? And then the shopping mall will be locked down for a while, and then if right now we have to see that they will be opened up again. But again, if the situation is not coming back, it's getting worse, it will come back and then lock down again as well. And then when you use more and more on the digital information or content, the other concern is that it will be more on the security and privacy of your information. In Thailand, we have the new regulation that will be implemented in next year in May, I believe. It's called PDPA, the Personal Data Protection Act. that will be implemented in Thailand. It should be implemented in the past 2 years, but it will be delayed because of the many of the government agency or even the private company didn't really prepare for how they manage or utilize or kept the personal information. So the act was delayed to next year, and then if it be implemented, it will be more secure and more privacy that giving to all the data in Thailand. So far, what it stated in that PDPA is just the same as the regulation in the EU country that they have launched their own regulation, I think 3 years ago, right? That is the model that Thailand, I think we can say that we are copying that the more, I think 80% is the same as the EU, but will be more flexible in the Thai context from that perspective. Okay, so I think I will be stop here for the break, right? And then we will come back and it just give the mic back to MC.
MC.
Okay, so we will stop here for the break. The break will be around 10 minutes, so please come back at I think around 3:05. So thank you. So please come back at 3:05.
อีรักครับไม่มีเสียงครับคือเปิดไมค์เปล่าอีรักครับไม่มีเสียงครับ
Sorry about that. I guess we'll just start the second session. I think the break is over. So let me just okay. So before we continue for the second session, I would like to welcome any new participants, I think, yeah, that have just joined this meeting. And I will just briefly summarize about the first session. So the first session really talks about the changes of technology that affects our daily life, the digital transformation, the people transformation, the cultural transformation, the future of jobs in terms of the top skills needed for the roles, the changes to the digital workplace, the accelerated trends in digital workplace technology, the rate of automation, for example, like 30% to 50% in just 5 years, the engines of the future, the impacts of technology such as AI, IoT, virtual reality, the robotic process automation. So now it's time for our second session, I believe. Please.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So we just continue from the first session that the Kuntira have been summarizing. So the second section will be moving you to more on the reality of those technology that we have mentioned before, both in the virtual reality, IoT, and AI, and how it's been progressing in Thailand right now, and then what is happening in Thailand. That will be all the technology that we have mentioned already been here today. Is not the future will be more, but today it started already. So the second section will be I'm sharing from the point of the insight from AIS that we are in the industry, that in the telecommunication, and then we are moving ourselves into the digital life service provider. That means we are moving from the mobile operator into a cloud provider, into a digital service provider. That means that the thing have changed, and then the industry also changed as well from that perspective, and also including the new category of the products, for example, right in the entertainment, that you may heard about the Disney Plus Hotstar as well. That is part of the strategy of the business that will be changing into the new model. And those type of the offering will be based on the new technology, like the streaming, the AI, the infrastructure of the cloud, something like that. So all of these will be come together, and then we may give you a more clearer picture. But just inform you first that the second half will be more on the sharing from the information from AIS. That will be I will be just sharing on the experience that I have here for almost a year. Right. So the journey of AIS is starting long time ago. I think in 1986, as the first mobile operator in the 1G, and then moving toward the 2G and 3G in 2013, and then the starting of using the more of data, and then the starting the cloud business in 2016, and then just recently, we are launching the IoT technology that will be using today. The IoT is kind of the broad definition that anything as a sensor that they can take the information that I have mentioned and then put into the cloud, right? But the thing that is AIS as a mobile operator have the advantage is that they're using the technology from the mobile together with the technology of IoT. They call the narrowband IoT or NB IoT. That means that a sensor or IoT can be movable, it can be mobile. So it means it can be put into any moving vehicle as well. It's not just the IoT that had to be stick into one place. So that kind of thing. And last year in I believe in December, they start a launch the 5G network that will be available in 27 provinces across Thailand. 5G will be bring more of the new trend and technology that is serving what we have said in terms of virtual reality, augmented reality, IoT, cloud, because they are providing the better bandwidth, low latency network. And then today, AIS also partnering with Microsoft to be provider as a cloud service provider, as also as a software solution provider as well. So if you can see from here, it is changing from a pure mobile operator to today that I'm saying that it will be expanding on more on the digital life service provider. So this is kind of the journey that we have in the past more than 30 years. Next will be a video that will be run you through the situation that we are having. Okay, so it's just a snapshot of what we have now and the future. So from the left-hand side, it will be more on the consumer product, right? So we have the AS Play box that will be part of the Disney Plus or Hotstar. We have the AS Fiber that will be bring a broadband to the household, and also on the blockchain financial technology on the payment, and also the CRM services like call center, and then the privilege program. On the right hand side, it is utilizing the solution from the partner like Microsoft and others in providing the enterprise customer or small medium customer with the solution that they can run their business into those of the platform and services from the broadband infrastructure into the back-end software. And also on the lower part, we are giving back to society in terms of the project and program that will bring up more on the innovation, as the program like Jump Thailand for a startup, or eSport from the AS Playground or InnoJump. So this kind of thing we are working and then moving toward is more on the emphasis on the change of the landscape of the business that I just told you. Okay, so this be. So in this video, it actually just the newest video that is reflecting the current situation from 2020-21 on the COVID-19 pandemic that impact on every businesses, and ourselves also impacted. So in many ways, all the employee will be work from home 100% since April till now. And then the people are in the front line for the technical that will be servicing all the customer at home will be having to be vaccinated and also tested every day before they are come into the workplace. So those kind of things are a new normal way, and then this is coming back into the sense of the COVID-19 impacted. This example of the virtual reality that come into the real product we call the V Avenue is the virtual shopping mall that working together with the mall group as the Emporium and many shop that they are creating a virtual world of the shopping mall that you can also come into experiencing the product, watching a video or even chat or talk with the salesperson, and then you will be actually purchase all of those through this virtual world called V Avenue. We are creating the virtual reality and augmented reality studio in Thailand. I think it's the largest or biggest studio that have been built in Thailand. That will be producing all the application for the customer for the technology on VR and AR. But for this year, actually the impact from the COVID-19 make the project a bit delayed, but is this one of the first of the product that have been launched early of this year. And then this also will be transitioned into every industry. Right, from healthcare to the shopping mall, right, to the manufacturing. Every industry will be moving toward using technology, and then all the technology that will be mentioned, like the AI, machine learning on the healthcare market, or virtual shopping mall that using VR, and then 5G technology in controlling the robotic process in the manufacturing line. So all of this had been implemented and also have been launched in Thailand, mostly in the Eastern Seaboard area in the industrial park. And then next one, I think I will be walk you through the services and then give you more understanding on the 5G technology. The thing is that the cloud computing is the core of the change or transformation. Earlier this when we start the session today, talking about digital transformation. One factor on that will be accelerating digital transformation is the cloud transformation. So moving all the data from on-premise, that we say on the technical term, into the cloud. Then moving the data or the infrastructure of the computer server and everything into the cloud will be save cost and make the people more scalable of the using technology. And then you can utilizing the feature of the AI and then the analytic of data or customer CRM, doing the social sensing, everything can happen into the cloud, and then giving back your information to the company to use. So right now we are kind of the end-to-end service provider that can help all the businesses moving their business into the cloud. So this is one example of the new entertainment of the Disney Hotstar that partnering with AIS through the AIS Playbox, that because AIS have the #1 subscriber base in Thailand, and Disney, they don't have their official office in Thailand. That means the business model is more on the partnering, right? So the Disney choose AIS as the local official partners in Thailand to launch the Disney Plus Hotstar, and this is on the demo of the video.
Welcome home.
15 seconds to drop.
Are you ready?
Where do we start? The ship.
Right. So this is an example of how we launching the use of the 5G technology into the entertainment market because of the you need the high speed bandwidth, you need the low latency kind of the streaming with this kind of the key content, right? That can work together. So this is the way that we are moving into the new way of businesses as an example. Okay. So just a recap on the 5G technology that start from a 1G data transfer toll on that back old day is a big size of the mobile handset, and then moving into the 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. You can compare to the speed on the lower part of the slide, that the speed come from 40 kilobit per second in 2G, and then up to 20 gigabit per second in 5G. And then right now, if you're using the fiber optic to home, right? AIS Fiber can offer you 1,000 gig / 1,000 gig for uplink and downlink down to a household. That makes the most fastest speed, not just in Asia, but the fastest speed upload and download to a household. Thailand is the #1 of the world. It's not just in Asia of the average of the speed. But in terms of coverage, maybe mostly in the city. But compared to even Singapore, they have the less in average have less speed than Thailand in that sense. So this can indicate that the infrastructure of our country and then the services of our country is one of the best speed in the world. So this is the key benefit from those 5G technology. They come into 3 things, right? It will be a bit technical, but I will kind of explain to you. The upper part is the enhanced mobile broadband. This will be more on the application or the scenario that you are needing a very high speed of the internet, right? For example, right, the entertainment media that I have mentioned about the Disney Plus Hotstar. The second one, URLLC, stands for ultra reliable low latency communication. This thing will be suitable for the application that need a very low delay or a zero delay, a near zero delay. I cannot say that no delay. It had a delay, but it's near zero delay, right? So that's one of the like the telemedicine or telesurgery, right? The doctor in Bangkok, they're doing a remote surgery to the in other distant location, or the self-driving car, right? Or the remote driving car, not self, the remote driving car, and also self-driving car as well. That they need a near zero latency in terms of if they have a sensor detect a person in front, right? It should be a near zero delay that they push the brake, something like that. So this is kind of the new technology that need a very low latency. They call the URLLC, ultra reliable low latency. And then the third one is a MMTC, a massive machine type communication. This one is more suitable for a vast number of devices that connect into the network, right? They didn't really need a fast speed. They didn't really need a low latency, but they need the coverage of the maximum number of devices. For example, in terms of the smart city, that every traffic light, every electrical pole, every digital camera or short circuit camera that connect into the internet, right? Those all the device or a sensor, right? We do need a big number in just 100 square meter. You might need about 1,000 of the devices that connect to the network. So those kind of things can use this functionality of the 5G on the MMTC scenario, right? So in this in just summary, that the 5G itself is not just giving you a faster speed, but it will bring you to a new set of the scenario that I have mentioned, right? So you need a more bandwidth, like entertainment or the playing games, something like that, right? So it'll be the enhanced mobile broadband. You need a low latency for reliable application, remote surgery, or a remote self-driving car, or remote driving, something like that, be the URLC. And then the sale of the smart city or smart industry, or in one factory, you have hundreds of robots working in the factory. Each robot can connect to 5G to internet, and then they can give and receive data for them to do a manufacturing that use the MMTC functionality of this 5G technology, right? So this is the triangle of the benefit from this 5G, right? So this is an example that I have mentioned before on the enhanced mobile broadband, right? So we can provide a fixed wireless broadband access, we call FWA. Right now, if you need the fiber optic broadband, right? So our technician have to bring in the fiber optic cable into your house. But for this one, you can carry around the receiver, right? It's a wireless access. So this one will be connected to the 5G network, right? And then use that 5G network as the internet into your location, right? So this fixed wireless access is be more flexible. No need to do the fiber optic cable from the electric pole into your house, right? So this one will be the new scenario that we can have in the very near future, right? Or you're doing a mixed reality, like I just showed in on the Oculus from Facebook, and then all the virtual reality that need a high speed to do a 3D 360-degree scenario. All type of those will be using this enhanced mobile broadband. The second one is the massive machine type that connect to a multiple of the sensor that I mentioned as a smart city or a smart port or logistic, smart energy environment or agricultural, right? So we put into the sensor into the agricultural production field, and then collecting the information, right, from the moisture, the quality of the soil, or even the weather, something like that, and then you can control how to open or close a sprinkler, something like that. So all those kind of things can do through this massive machine type communication. And last one, the alterable low latency. I mentioned remote surgery, autonomous diving car, remote construction, and then also connecting to the edge computing also use this kind of thing, right? So I think it gives you more clearer understanding of the 5G technology that have put into the triangle, right? The next one will be more on the IoT that I have mentioned earlier. That is the one of the engine for the future. Without 5G, IoT seem like so difficult to implement it because of the IoT is a sensor itself. They need to connect to the internet, right? And then with 5G, that make things happen very easily. So from the sensor, they can connect to, let's say, the router or the access point at the edge, and then do connect to the internet, and then connect to the cloud. That collecting the data, we can use the AI, you can use the management of those kind of the application, and then just giving back the command down to IoT, and then IoT will be follow instruction to do something, right, in response to what they have sensor. Okay, so in the left hand side, it's more on the I can call them together as a cognitive services, right? It can be the application like the AR, VR, cognitive recognition, gaming, storage, or even the computer desktop. And then this will be the end-to-end connection from the endpoint of the user down to the cloud. And this will be connected wirelessly in a seamless way. One example that happened during the COVID-19 pandemic is the kind of the yard quarantine, right? So people who is another alternative than the hospital or the self-quarantine or home isolation. It will be into the yard, and then it's piloting in Phuket area. So we use a wristband that connect to using the narrowband IoT, NB-IoT, right? And then as in the picture, so we will be tracking the location and also sending the information of the temperature or the information back to the hospital to know what happened into that person, and then they can track into those even in the sea, right? Because they are in the yard. So the connection of the 5G can cover down to in the sea as well. So this is happening in early of this year that we have do the pilot together with the government agency in Phuket area. So the next step from IoT, we call the AIoT. So this stands for Artificial Intelligent IoT. So they're using AI together with the IoT. Because of the first generation of IoT just collecting data as a sensor, and then the AIoT will be give them more intelligent, right? So when they detect something, they can even analyze by themselves at the edge, and then they can respond. For example, if you have the camera from in the front of your house, so as an IoT scenario is that it just capture the picture for you, right? And then you can monitor through your monitor or to your mobile phone, but they cannot control anything else. It's just capturing the picture. But for AIoT, once they're capturing the picture, we can programming them or give them more smarter. For example, if they detect a person, right, in the middle of the night, you can control them that to turn on the light automatically, or turn on the sound, or turn on any sprinkle. If they detect the cat or a pet that running around, they do nothing. But if they detect a person in the night, they can do something. So those kind of things can be done to the AIoT scenario. Right. So it's more on the intelligent connectivity that from IoT sending the information to the cloud, and then the cloud computing. We work on the AI through the application, and it can send the command back to control. This is another example that AIS, we work together with the Stanford University at the Stanford Flight Lab of the 5G we call open radio network example, that using the signal of the 5G network to control a drone, right? So let me run the video for you. So this is the diagram that from the 5G network that send the information to the sensor to the camera. We have the drone over there, and the camera will detect the picture of the drone, the location, and then at the back end, the block is mean that the AI can detect the information and compute and send the signal back to the drone, right? Control the drone to fly in a different scenario, right? So this is a kind of the packet that sending back and forth from the antenna to the antenna will send the signal to the drone to control them, and the camera will detect the drone. Okay, so let's see on the real wrap from that diagram.
Stanford Flight Room, located on the basement of the Durand building on Stanford campus, has a large number of wired cameras that connect to the Ether-connected edge, where the two drone control applications, the motion capture app and the command control app, run. We have built and deployed an Ether-connected edge for Pronto in the Stanford Flight Room. The Pronto Edge is built on a 2x2 Tofino-based SD fabric. Connected to the fabric are commodity-off-the-shelf servers with CPU and GPU resources for containerized workloads. Also connected to the fabric is the 4G small cell, providing coverage in the CBRS band. The drones are furnished with 4G CBRS dongles for private mobile network connectivity. For control of the coordinated drone flight, the motion capture app continuously calculates drone locations from the streams it receives from the cameras. This information is then shared with the command control app. The command control app uses this information along with the desired trajectory of the drone flight to calculate the next waypoint for each drone. The app then sends both the location and the next waypoint information to the drone using Ether's connectivity service. Specifically, this flow follows the 4G SD core user plane function realized on the SD fabric as a P4 program, as well as the 4G CBRS small cell. As you can imagine, this is a delay-sensitive operation.
Okay, right. So what we have talking so far is that from the technology trend, and then the second half show you how it is right now, the state of the implementation in the real life through the network, and then the possibility is much more. The solution in the future can be a more smart city, smart transportation, smart logistics, smart living. All kind of things will connected to the cloud, and then what is detecting the information is from the IoT sensors, right? And then the endpoint can be virtual reality, augmented reality, or anything that, and then supported by the AI power of the cloud. So all of this will be bring up a new way of how we work, how we live, how we play, how we learn. Just a summary from the 5G technology that I have mentioned so far. It'll be easier understanding that it have a higher speed, about 20 times speed, much more than 4G. And then the coverage is also can expand, and then they can accommodate up to 1 million devices in 1 square meter. So that will be very much more than enough for an IoT devices that connect into the network, right? And then also supporting the IoT, industrial IoT, AIoT. I mean, so all kind of those applications through the IoT. IoT meaning industrial IoT, the sensor that put into all the machine in the industrial park or in the manufacturing factory. AIoT, that the sensor that they are smart enough to do some data analytics and make decision on their own. And also supporting the AR, VR, 3D, or even the 8K high, very super high resolution of the entertainment. And then this will apply into many other new technology that's coming up, like the self-driving car, telemedicine, remote surgery, smart home, and then the transition from 4G and 5G will be seamless. Everything that we implemented will be hand over between 4G and 5G in the next 2 to 5 years, because the 5G technology itself, it will be implemented a bit longer time than moving from 3G to 4G. Because 3G to 4G it will be more on upping up the speed only. But 5G, you can see from this session that there are so many things at the back end. And with the technology itself, it will be start from a specific location, and then they will expand more and more, right? So it will be not much like the competition on the high coverage. Let's say in 4G, right? We can say we coverage of the 4G network everywhere in the jungle, in the sea, and everywhere. That is 4G tech network. But the 5G of the application, you can see that will be happening in a specific location, like in the factory, right? In the port, in the city, or a specific use of the solution, like the telemedicine, remote surgery, that will be within a hospital, right? So it's a different approach from the 3G to 4G, and then the chipping up from 4G to 5G will be more on the transition of the seamless transition. That will be take about 2 to 3 years from now, right? Right. So that will be the end of my sharing today, and then next will be giving back to the MC for a Q&A session.
Okay, so if anyone would like to ask any questions for the guest speaker, then please turn on your microphone or press the hand raise button on your MSN Teams, the Microsoft Teams. Thank you.
Question, please. We have 10 to 15 minutes left.
Then I guess I'll ask the first question then. What are the digital innovations of AIS after the COVID-19 pandemic?
Can you come again, please?
What are the digital innovations by AIS company after the COVID-19 pandemic?
Oh, okay. So specifically on the COVID-19 pandemic, we are building up the robot, and then give into more than 100 of the temporary hospital around the country. That robot will be equipped with the camera connect to 5G network, and also they can do the telemedicine that the patient can consult to the doctor in a remote, a distant. Let's say the doctor will be in Bangkok area, or some of you need a more specialized doctor to consult with, or even in the high list of the zone of the COVID-19 pandemic, that robot can bring in all the equipment of food to the deliver by controlling that robot, right? So that is specifically on the COVID-19 pandemic, that we are building a robot and then donate to the temporary hospital. And just in the other case that I had just shown is the scenario that we try out with Phuket provinces on the yard quarantine with the narrowband IoT, the wrist strap that give the patient to wear that, and then we know right away that where are they. Okay, so actually when open the Phuket sandbox, right? If we know for sure that who they are, and then where they are in the exact location, that will really confirm on the implementation of the sandbox. But as we know that in the real scenario, they didn't have anything to control, right? They just get people into Phuket Island, and then they can travel around, and even some of them are escaped from the Phuket before the time. So if they're using this the wrist strap with NB-IoT, we can know for sure that when they leave where they are, and then that will help do in a proactive of the protection or secure people into that specific location. Yeah, I think that is the two scenario that we have been helping in the COVID-19 pandemics.
Thank you for your answer.
I have a question.
Yes.
So from slide the engines of our future, which one do you think it can use for the business view?
Okay, from the business view, I think AI will be the main engine and on the back end, meaning that from the business view, you can see from the video from the Hootsuite, right? That we are now all the channel that we are interact with the customer, we are collecting all information, right, through the social media, to the website, or through the mobile application. Anything will be collected, and then AI can help analyze and then matching and make the product offering that match to the need of the customer or doing a business. In that sense, that down to consumer business. From the B2B, like the business to business, this can also AI can help on the data analytic and then forecasting, or even help on the manage of the supply chain from end to end. That we combine with other technology, for example, right? We call the enterprise resource process, right? The ERP or the customer relationship management, CRM. Those kind of the software in the past just doing the collecting and then doing some small analytic. With the AI on top, they will give you more and the analytical power, and then you can make use of those information more efficiently, more effectively, and help the marketer or help the executive to do the decision making based on a very informative insight of the data. I think that will be the one that give more impact, and then we don't really know that there's an AI at the back end, but more or less it will coming in, and then the cost in implementing AI, it will be cheaper, and then the AI itself will be more smarter as well when the time goes by. So that I think from those five engine, I think AI will come more fast, and then it will be available through some of the software. So we didn't really see the AI itself, but it's there. I think that is my view.
Thank you.
I also have a question. According to Disney is the partner of AIS, so after this, do you have any plan to do with Disney?
Okay, so in that sense, we have to think on this way. Let's say if you are at the Disney, right, and then you didn't have a coverage in Asia, right? So in Asia, they are partnering mainly with the Hotstar already, and then for Thailand, they didn't have any coverage in Thailand or any official partners. So there are quite a number of options. Let's say if this before Disney joined with AIS, let's just looking back that way. They have a couple of way to do business in Thailand. One is they establish their subsidiary Disney company in Thailand, but that should be our market should be big enough for them to invest, right? The second option is that looking for the right partner in Thailand, and for example, like they will be looking into multiple of the opportunities, and then they look into many things. That let's say why a mobile operator? Okay, because the mobile operator we have the direct contact with the subscriber, or with the people who are subscribed for a mobile phone, right? And then when they look into that way, that the services will be distributed into the mass amount of people. And then AIS quite a good choice because we are the number one of the market share of the subscriber, right? So we have more than 40 plus million subscriber in the system. So as a Disney, they didn't really invest anything, right? They just partner with AIS, and then we do all the marketing for them. We're helping together, and then the other thing that Disney need is that the process on the correcting of the subscription, right? If not, you need to do the kind of the finance or the bank transfer, right, from the user into Disney. So mobile operator will be a very good choice for them, right? Let's say they combine with us, and then the bill will be through our existing billing system to the customer. Customer will pay to AIS pay to Disney. From your question, it will be the next step. I think will be more on the leveraging of the offering of Disney itself from other region into Thailand, right? Because right now Disney and Disney Hotstar also operating in multiple of the countries, and then the offering might be different, right? So in the near future, after we launch the first phase of the product this year, I think next year they'll be adding up more and more of the offering from Disney itself through this platform. So we can expect more from that, be more variety of the content, or even have the local exclusive content in the Disney Plus Hotstar as well.
Thank you so much, Ka.
We have more 4 or 5 minutes left. Have any question? ธีระครับธีระ
Yes. So if there are no more questions left, then I think it's time for us to end the seminar. But before we leave, I want to thank Dr. Supoet Srinutapong for coming to be our special guest speaker to talk to us today. And for our next seminar, I'm sorry. For our next seminar will be next Wednesday, the 1st of September, and we will have Mr. Surasak Luan Usaku, who is the co-founder, the director of planning and ideas from the Bragg Baker Company Limited, to talk about the digital marketing now and beyond. So if anyone is interested, you can join us next Wednesday in this seminar in marketing. And I would like to thank everyone for your participation and attention for today's seminar. And I do hope that this seminar has offered you new knowledge and insight to be applied into practical use. Thank you so much for today and have a nice day. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you ครับ Thank you ครับ Everyone please give big hand to support ครับ
ขอบคุณครับขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับชอบจังเลยวิดีโอเยอะดี
ใช่ครับอาจารย์ครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับไว้หลังโควิดผมอนุญาตขอไปเลี้ยงข้าวนะขอบคุณครับอาจารย์
อาจารย์แก้วครับดีครับ
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับขอบคุณทุกท่านครับ